reconvene our city council meeting for May 19th, 2025. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the roll.
Legansky.
Here.
Shower.
Here.
Stompanato.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Belzak.
Here.
Gustafson. Kenny.
Here.
6 present and 1 absent.
We have a quorum. It takes us to questions and comments and announcements of a general nature. This is on our agenda. Several years ago, we put this here for anybody who was in our audience who did not want to stay the entire meeting but wanted to address the council, anything not related to our agenda. This would not be the time for Sokol. All right. Since we have no one, it takes us to our approval of the minutes. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of May 5th, 2025, moved by Alderman Stompanato, seconded by Alderman Kenny. Again, any questions or comments regarding the minutes? If not, the roll.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
6 ayes and 1 absent.
Minutes have been approved. Takes us to receiving of communications. Do any of the aldermen have communications they'd like to share? Mary?
The continuation goes on with Carriage Greens Golf Course. I have received several communications again from the owners, Brian and Adriana Broderick. Sadly, the vandalism and the trespassing continues. I've also had some nearby residents reporting youth riding e-bikes around the course at night onto the greens, causing destruction. And it's very troubling because the residents are trying to be as vigilant as possible. Both homeowners associations, Carriageway West and Pinehurst, have sent out communications reminding their community members to keep an eye out, to be vigilant, to call 911 immediately. But if anyone has seen the e-bikes racing around town, which we'll be addressing at a later date, they move pretty fast. But the damage has been done. It continues to be done. People are continuing to trespass. And it's very upsetting to the owners, and it's very costly. And this is kicking into high gear, maybe not this week with the setback in temperatures, but golf season is ready to be full blown, and it's really a setback for them. So they're evaluating some options. I'm hoping that we can get a meeting with some of the homeowners. But there's open communication right now with the city and the police department trying to get in touch with this. There's also been reports that people are helping themselves to the golf course after hours, playing golf, not paying. And, I give the Brodericks a lot of credit. They don't really want to press charges against young people, but unfortunately that's what has to happen in order for, the judiciary system to take action. So I guess this is a little PSA, stay off the course, pay to golf, keep your bikes on the street, and if not, you're gonna get hit with a ticket and maybe go to jail.
20 years ago, we had some similar situation when I was Ward 5 Alderman. We had significant damage to the golf course, and the Brodericks threatened to fence in the golf course. And we met at Carriage Greens. Kathy Minardi helped me organize it. And we had about 350 people at Carriage Greens, and they took a very strong stand, and they caught the individuals who were responsible, and that kind of settled that. And there was no need to put a fence up, but the Brodericks are again talking about installing a fence around the entire perimeter. In fact, Adriana contacted Mr. Gombeck, wanting to know about the permitting process and all that, so I think they're a little bit more serious this time. So it is a shame, the damage that they're doing. They're getting 200 golfers on a Saturday, and so they can ill afford not to have the golf course looking at its best. So really, I agree with Mary, it's a shame. Hopefully we can organize another meeting and put this fence talk to rest and catch the people who are doing this. But people walking on the golf course at night, people playing golf when they're not supposed to be playing golf or not paying, children riding their e-bikes on the golf course, it can't go on.
Today we had Chief Nathan Norton,
had a meeting with the Brodericks, and had a lot of good conversation, good meeting, discussed various options that could be employed, discuss what the police can do for them, so they had a very good meeting.
Just out of curiosity, Chief, I know we don't have an ordinance, but with these e-bikes, I mean, it's, we mentioned it at the last meeting, it's gotten really, I mean, what can we do, you know? They're flying down the street at 30, 35 miles an hour, and I had two people on like a, you know, with the handlebar, almost looks like a, you know, thank you. And they had two of them, they're going 30 and they're jumping over the speed bumps, and they almost ran in the back of my car. They're like, oh, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what can be done, but it's my concern eventually something's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, that's on me. I was put together the ordinance, met with Brian and the mayor, discussed those issues, came back. I was going to send it to all the aldermen to have input. I was literally like a click away, realized I didn't put scooter into the ordinance. So that, so I had to do that and then send it out to you. So that's on me. Actually, that's
At least you got some, I mean, because like I said, I'm just afraid somebody's gonna get hurt. It's gonna happen, unfortunately.
And I think we've all experienced it driving around our community, and most of the reckless driving is happening with underaged.
Oh, yeah.
Like definitely, you know, the 8 to 14-year-old range, I'm gonna say. And so like parents, you know, let's do a little parenting here and make sure, because, you know, car versus e-bike, the car's gonna win and the e-bike's not. And I mean, it would kill me to see someone get seriously injured or worse because they just weren't being, you know, go to Safety Village. These kids clearly didn't go to Safety Village in the day. Because if they did, Cindy Hagan would have made sure they knew that that's just not how you ride a bike.
I'm going down Clarendon Hills this week, all right? It's 30 miles an hour, so I'm heading south, okay? And they got e-bikes coming north on the right-hand side. All of a sudden, this one kid starts to go into the other lane, and I literally slow down and stop so he can pull back into his lane and keep going. But he's right on the street doing, you know, 25, 30 miles an hour, whatever the speed was like, you know? It's, and I'm like, what are you gonna do, you know?
I had a very close call like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I just missed somebody. It would have been
So Chief, you're,
on a scooter. No, I'm sorry. Dave.
Chief, you're gonna make that change then, and you'll send it out to the council? As you mentioned, you were gonna do
get
it.
that done tomorrow. It's not that big of a thing, but just to add the scooters into the policy.
And we don't
Just be
normally,
careful what you ask for, because if you don't want them on the sidewalk, now you got an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old on the street. If you don't want them on the street, now you're banning, or virtually banning the process to kids, so. But you'll get that before the conversation, so that.
And Chief, you're 100% correct. That's the issue. You know, you don't want to, you know, take some, you know, kids' fun away. But where do you make sure that they're safe? That's the problem in this one. You know.
Chief, when you send it, can you send, I sent you the example of what Hinsdale put out.
I used Hinsdale, Clarendon, I think it was Clarendon Hills.
Burr Ridge
We used
just
like
did one too, I think,
Burr
yeah.
Ridge, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I had like 6 of them,
Okay.
and but Hinsdale's the one that I used.
Because they did that
most
nice
of.
graphic. I think that just was
There's-
visually
but
easier.
There's
to
a
go
lot of
through.
stuff that they had licensing. I don't know if we want to go to licensing, all the kinds of stuff. So I took that out. If you want to license them, I can put that back in. But the discussion's really yours to how you want to frame that. And then once you have that framed, then we'll be responsible to do the
You know,
enforcement.
You know, Chief, honestly, at least if they had a license, you can take a picture and report it. Because so many times by the time you see it, you know, we've had issues and they're
That
gone and you
license
guys,
is that big.
oh, it is?
Goes on the
It's like the little
front.
toy,
Oh,
like
it's
the
that
kitty
small.
license you get at the.
It's not
Gotcha.
a-
There's
The
no
dime
way,
store.
okay.
Cricket Jake Box.
Just sticks on.
It's
there.
not-
It's just like that now, that there's a
It's that
sticker
small.
on there that says it's a class 1, class 2, or class 3. You can't see that.
Okay.
You have to actually make the stop to look at the e-bike to see what class is.
Anyone else have communications? I have a communication I received, and maybe Mary will be familiar with it, but this individual rides Oldfield Road a lot. And he rides Oldfield Road and he makes a turn on Frontage Road. And his comment is, there's difficulty turning onto Frontage Road. Every day I'm heading home, I have great fear of making that turn. It is hard to see cars coming on the right or the left. due to the trees in the forest, and the cars driving on frontage road have no stop sign and come at a speed limit of 40 miles an hour. And he said he's talked to other people, and I'll be quite honest, when I go to Alpine, I'll take North Frontage Road to go back. Or when I go to Alpine, I take Oldfield Road to North Frontage Road. And I almost have to pull out onto Oldfield Road to be able to see if cars are coming from either direction. So he is right in saying that there's a lot of trees and brush that really obscure your line of vision when you're trying to make that turn. He's suggesting tree trimming. I don't know anything about that, Dan.
We'd have to take a look at it. More than likely, I believe that's private property. I'd have to double check some of the right of way line is.
I'm pretty sure both the obstructing shrubbery is private property. But it is my husband's even commented on it.
We'll review it, see what opportunities there are, I guess working with, that would be unincorporated as well, so, it'll be a goodwill gesture at best from the resident that lives there, but whether or not, again, not being our resident, being adjacent to the state, I think it's gonna be a limited, protocol there as far as us doing something, if anything.
I travel it quite a bit, and I don't really notice the problem with the trees, but the way the street is angled, I think it's more the angle. So when I'm pulling onto frontage road from Oldfield, I actually turn my car to the right so I can see whether there's cars coming to the right. The left isn't really as much of an issue, but coming from the right. But I don't really notice an issue with trees, although it could be some.
That's a good point, Mike, because there is a geometrical,
Yeah,
configuration
it's-
there that requires you to pull
Yeah,
out to
it's-
see that curve.
Yeah, it's not a T, it's not your
No,
typical
it's
square
not.
intersection.
It's
It's not a T, yeah, it's not perpendicular.
Anything else? Okay. Takes us to our mayor's report, and tonight, we're gonna have a talk by Mr. Rich Pachata. And Rich represents Sokol. I don't know if I think Mary's aware of it. Several of you, I might have mentioned it. June 25th, Sokol is gonna be holding the 25th annual Sokol, I think it's SLET, SLET, which are a series of games and activities that will take place primarily at Hinsdale South High School. And it's probably gonna bring 1,000 to 1,500 people into our Darien community. So Rich, if you'd like to make your presentation, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll just give a brief description and presentation. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Board. We greatly appreciate you letting us come present. This is very exciting for us. Similar to the Olympics, from around the country, we would put in a bid to host the next SLET, as you call it, as we call it, and put in a bid, and we did that to hopefully successfully have this in 2021, but we all know what happened then, so we had to postpone, and they graciously let us keep the bid, so because everything was already in motion, we had kept the bid for 2025. So here we are. I'll just give you a brief explanation of our organization. Our movement, the Sokol movement, was founded in 1862 in the Czech lands and later became Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic and Slovak Republic. The original purpose was to foster democracy among Czech people living in the oppressive Austria-Hungarian Empire, and the American Sokol was founded in 1865 based on founder Miroslav Tirš, and the first unit opened and then they finally brought that to America, and the first unit opened in St. Louis in 1865, which is still in existence today. So I'm the president of the Central District, which basically encompasses Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, and there's still St. Louis, Milwaukee, and we have 7 units here within the Chicagoland area. The Sokol, the Czech word for Sokol, or Sokol is the Czech word is falcon. That's the symbol of our organization. And the word slet, Czech roughly means flocking, the flocking of birds. So we're gathering to have a competition. You can think of it as our Olympics. This is basically, we get together every 4 years somewhere in the United States. And this will be our 25th meeting. So, since recent years and the Czech land becoming Czech Republic, since 1993, they're allowed to now practice and meet. So every 6 years, some of us gather and go there to their sled. And we were just there in 2024. And you can imagine how huge it is there because that's basically their athletics program. So I have a handout for each of you. And if you have any questions, these cool things are all done by Matt Carlozzi, our marketing guy. So I just wanted to keep it brief and have a one-page handout for you guys. And our schedule's on the back. And it's actually open to a lot of different people. We have pickleball this year because we all know pickleball is like taking off and everybody's putting pickleball courts in everywhere. So we don't have any e-bike competition. I will tell you, I don't live in Darien, but I live in unincorporated DuPage, right next to Darien, Clare Hills Road, and you guys are right. These guys, it's amazing, the power, and I'm a gearhead, but the power of those things, I mean, they'd be going like 15 miles an hour and they just crack it up and they're driving a wheelie right down 75th Street. It's unbelievable. So it is definitely a problem that we see everywhere. But yeah, so all of our activities are on the back. Here, we got almost a full week of stuff. And you might ask, why Darien? So why Darien? We're not new to Darien, Sokol, the word Sokol. Some of you might know on South Frontage Road, there's a Sokol Court. Street named Sokol Court. That property was all owned by a handful of gyms that had kind of disbanded, maybe due to population and membership, put all their monies together, and they had bought all that farmland there. They were going to build a large Sokol and on the property. Over the years, things had happened, and then they ended up selling the property and buying a building in Downers Grove, elite sports complex at 63rd and Belmont. They are still there today. So that's where the new, I think, apartment building is. That was going to be the building and then surrounding areas. So that's where Sokol Court came from. And then the other reason, Darien, all my children went to Hinsdale South. I know the coach real well. We always try to find a place with gymnastics equipment because that's primarily our activity is gymnastics. To bring equipment in and have it set up, it usually costs $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 just to have it brought there, and you still need the manpower to set it all up. The high school has everything we need, so we worked with the high school. We worked with Jared Amos, the coach there, gymnastic coach, to put this together, and the school's been great. So far, the city's been great. We appreciate you welcoming us, and we're looking forward to an awesome week. So, if anybody has any questions of me, Mary?
Thanks, Rich, so much. We're excited to have Sokol and Sled Olympics here. If you were to say, things for us to attend, clearly the kickoff party at the stadium would be something, elected officials would be, but.
Absolutely, and we would love for you to be at the kickoff. We're gonna have a 5K fun run walk, so I mean that, almost anybody can participate in that. There's gonna be a ribbon cutting ceremony for that. We would love Joe to come speak at the kickoff for sure, and then, you're welcome to anything else. We have a banquet that's gonna be there. We're at Compass Arena basically because we're already just over 300 some for that, and there ain't too many places that can handle 300 people. That's our Slet celebration. So after our big performance on Saturday on the fields all day, we're having a celebration there. So,
Rich, you asked me to do the opening remarks. We did a congratulatory letter that we gave you that you're going to put in the program, and you'd like a proclamation, and we'll work on a proclamation.
We appreciate that.
To get that done. And, this is an honor for us to have this in our community. It's going to bring some business to our businesses with all the people that'll be here. I understand, though, there's going to be about 30 people from the Czech Republic or that are gonna be coming?
Tried 398.
390.
So, we've become very close with the Czechs over the years because, again, since they became a republic in 1993, January 1st, 1993, they became a free land again, right? So during communist rule, they weren't allowed to have any activities and be physically fit and anything like that. So us been traveling back and forth, you make friends. And I think Barb was just there, not for the SLEP, but she was just there in the Czech Republic recently. We had a couple of gentlemen come in to teach us their calisthenics so that when we got there, we were ready to know exactly what they wanted us to do. So we had a whole group, a whole block from Canada and America, US, that performed on the field with 1,200 men and women. So, you know, they are returning the favor, and they have 398 coming. They'll be staying all mostly at the Marriott Delta, and I don't know, a few scattered. I know some of them were at La Quinta, and they had a fire, and you call there and it goes to Red Roof Inn. So I don't know, what's happening, but regardless. And why Hinsdale South is number one, the equipment. The hotels are close by. If they're here. Basically, they're gonna have school buses and stuff that take them, they wanna tour the city and stuff like that, but they can walk to Hinsdale South from the hotels. And there's restaurants all up and down Route 83, and, down Plainfield Road in Darien, and so it's all just really close. The furthest thing we have is, I think in Bedford Park, we have a social for the children at the, what is that arena now,
Trust.
yeah.
You're missing the number one reason.
Pardon?
You're missing the number one reason. Darien's a nice place to play.
Rich, we could do some publicity for you. We could put this in our Darien Direct Connect, if you'd like that.
And I brought some, I've got some of these going up. Can we mention beer now? Sure. So, of course, being Czech, we love our Czech beers or our Pilsner beers. So Matt took it upon himself, and he had, not himself, but he had Noon Whistle Brewery from Lombard and Naperville make us our own exclusive beer called Flight of the Falcon. We're going to taste it on June 13th, a tasting, and we're having cans made, barrels made, chicken baskets already vowed to take 2 barrels. I'm getting Zazos, who I frequent quite oftenly. Zazos, they're hopefully going to buy some barrels, and I am getting posters, so I have some posters here. If anybody wants, I can leave them here. So this is basically QR codes and stuff on there, and you can quick, easy thing there. So, yep.
Why don't you leave that for us? We'll get that out to some of the community organizations.
And hang it in City Hall.
Yeah.
And then just electronically send, the things so that they can put it in Direct Connect and on the website.
Yeah, and I originally shared this poster with you, and I think the very first bulletin, but this handout kind of says it all too. So.
My familiarity with this is, and Ted probably remembers, because I was an alderman when that Sokol property across 55, there was talk of a gymnasium being built and everything like that. And it's funny, when this came up, I mentioned this to Barbara, because Barbara and I were in the Rotary together and found out Barb was part of Sokol. She was a gymnast. I have a good friend who went to the University of Utah and won an NCAA championship, and she was part of Sokol. She did some of her training there. So gymnastics has always been a part of this.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Primarily, yes.
and if you know Eastern European, I have a good friend of mine, one of my dance instructors, they're from Moldova. Some are from Poland, some are from Moldova, some are from Ukraine. And for them, this is their gym is dancing and gymnastics and everything like that.
Many believe that, the calisthenics or aerobics, hand exercises, the original dumbbells, I still have some from our gym, were wooden dumbbells, and hand apparatus. You'd be surprised. The calisthenics, it was all invented in Europe. Germans, Czechs, Polish Falcon. Falcons, same organization, pretty much the same thing. They're all over Croatia, there's Sokol in Croatia, from all over the world. And we'll have Sokols in Canada. So Barb has a lot of friends from Texas. Texas Czechs are huge. Go down there, and I think was it 1933 or 36, the Sokol Sled was on Soldiers Field and there were 10,000 men drilling on the field at the same time. That was the big Soldiers Field, not the football field, so the whole field. So, and a lot of course, neighborhoods were built by the Czechs. Pilsen neighborhood, named after Pilsen.
Any questions for Rich?
Real quick, on the 26th, this is bar and restaurant on site. Where is that located at?
Oh, that's the old chalet was racquetball. That's in Willow Springs,
Okay.
right at German Church and
Okay.
Wolf Road. Yeah,
That's where TPS
that used to be
is.
Score Fitness, and now TPS bought it, the Perfect Swing.
Okay.
The family owns it, so that's where our volleyball tournament's at, because they have 4 courts. You know, we could have easily had the volleyball at Hinsdale South, but at the time when we were trying to schedule, nobody wants to schedule anything out a year in advance. And the high school always has construction during the summer, so we deal with that. So they just can't commit. But because of their camps, we weren't able to really get the field house for volleyball, so we took that off-site. That's just right down the street though, on German Church and Wolf Road, so.
Rich, I told Barbara you need to let me know how long I have on June 25th to give the opening remarks, because I could go on for a long time.
Okay,
I recommend
to-
giving him a time limit.
You'll have to deal with Howie, you have to deal with Howie on that one, so, but I'll
Okay.
make sure, he
He gets a hold of me.
yes,
Okay.
keeps it short.
Are we having any like beer or anything in this area? Do you have to get a liquor license for them? Or anything?
No, there's no beer at the school.
Nothing around
No.
the areas or anything? I'm just
No,
asking the
The
question.
beer's just strictly at restaurants and to buy cans. It's all being, huh?
Unless we get it sorted out.
We get a proclamation for that?
All right. Anything else?
Any questions, feel free to.
Yeah. 'Cause that's, where are the breweries?
Brewery tour.
Yeah, where's the brewery?
Noon Whistle? Oh, Brewery Tours?
So we're going to Black Horizon, Imperial Oak, and ending up in Lions at Buckle Down, because our event later that evening is in Brookfield at one of the Sokol Mills.
Nice, okay.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Be in touch. We'll keep in touch.
Appreciate it very much.
We're looking forward to it. It'll be nice to
Yeah, and
have.
I was a gymnast too, it's hard to believe. Competed at Hinsdale South, but I was from Lance Township.
How about a little demo?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. It takes us to our city clerk's report, Joanne.
One announcement, city offices will be closed on Monday, May 26th in observance of Memorial Day.
Thank you. City administrators report.
No report here. Thank you.
Department head information and questions. Chief, we have our April 2025 report.
Yes, we do.
You want to say anything about that, or just have us read it?
I was paying too much attention.
Sorry.
No, that World War II, that looked really interesting. Accidental hero.
That is really,
Um,
really interesting.
Yeah, if I may, the Accidental Hero, I got to go see it in Milwaukee one time. The gentleman does the whole play, he's a one-man show. And as it states, he reenacts his grandfather's experience in a Czech city, as he was from Wisconsin and they needed somebody that could speak Czech, and they basically grabbed him and he became the liaison between everybody in the platoon and in a Czech city where his grandparents happened to be from, so, during World War II. Very interesting, super cool play that he puts on.
That was a commercial break for monthly report. Last week was Police Week. I was able to get to a couple of events. Naperville had a blue mass that I attended. Very nice. Went to King County, had a memorial on Wednesday, I think. Rural Police had their memorial on Saturday, so a number of different events. The proclamation that you guys voted on, think on the 5th, posted that at PD, so everybody got to see that, your choice in making sure that officers and support staff knew that you support them through that proclamation. Public alerting system. The DUCOM has a new process, cutting out the middleman, so to speak, and so it's automated, so then when there's an alert through the national weather system, and it automatically tones out in the same general way that it has been in the past, so it's not all of DuPage getting toned out, it's people that are within that targeted area. Just a reminder, a lot of people think that that is the notification. That siren is only for people that are outdoors. So don't expect to hear that siren indoors. So you hear that when you get that notification, it's gonna be on your phone, it's gonna be on the radio, it's gonna be on the television. There's a number of different places that you can hear or get that notification. But that notification has never been designed to be notified in building. And so just be aware of the purpose. So hopefully that helps some things. This month is National Mental Health Awareness Month. Fits well that we started our social worker that you guys appreciate that, voted on and funded. She was here today, saw her, talked to her. So she's starting that process. There's some onboarding stuff. There's some rules about being inside the police station, police building, beyond the lobby that if you're going to be there unescorted, you have to go through this criminal justice information systems security training, and there's some leads in order to see stuff that might be in a police report. Training, so her day today was mostly training and getting prepared. There's also information about how frequently we get called for mental health issues and the 988 hotline versus 911, smart 911, and making sure that if you want and feel the need, you can put special alerts on the smart 911 systems that police or EMS, fire department, whoever might be responding, have specialized knowledge about what they're going to be involved in. So, and then the rest of it's just the normal crime, crashes, concerns, and those type of things, the charts and graphs.
Any questions for the chief on any of that data? I have one question, Greg. When they were talking about the new DUCOM system, they said this new system would only send out, it would only target the areas that were actually in the tornado zone.
Correct.
Is all gonna be done electronically then?
Everything's done electronically. Like I said, a lot of times in the past, far past, 4, 5, 6 years ago, they hit the button and everybody in Duke that's protected by DUCOM services would get that message. And so you might be, the length of DuPage, you could be quite a ways away from that issue, and you're still going to get that alert. That's gone away side. And now, like you said, it's automated.
Any other questions for Chief Thomas?
Was the alert that went out on Friday about the dust storm?
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I reading here?
I was at a dinner and everybody's phone's going off in the restaurant. And everybody's got their phone off looking at it. And because you can see outside, I'm thinking, what is going on? But
bizarre.
Yeah, so the alerts on the phone are for inside.
Any questions for Mr. Gombeck from Municipal Services?
I don't know what the dust storm was from, Greg, do you know?
I know my car got washed that day.
Never fails.
Dan, I wanted to.
There you go. Thanks.
Our street is one of the lucky streets that's getting redone this year. And we're at the point now where all the new, what do you call it? Curb and gutters are being installed. And I have to tell you that Suburban Concrete's been wonderful. The city's been wonderful in terms of notices to people. And I want to thank the Darien Police for letting us park our cars everywhere and anywhere, because you couldn't put them in your driveway. Although today we're back. went out to bring the garbage cans in today, and the guy from Suburban Concrete came by. I'm standing there with my bathrobe and my messy hair, and he goes, "By the way, sir," he says, "you can put your car back in the park in your driveway." I said, "Thank you very much."
He probably didn't wanna see you in your night robe anymore.
I have my mayor badge on. No, but, they're doing a really nice job, and they've been really informative. And when you upset a neighborhood so much like that, where you have to park in the street or find a place to park, it's kind of nice to know when you can go back, and they've been very good about it.
They've been a great partner, I have to say that. I believe this is their fourth or fifth year that they've secured the contract for the city, so really a great working relationship all the way around, from communication to warranty issues to concerns. It's been very good.
Any questions for Dan? If not, we'll move on to Treasurer's Report. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, I'm requesting council's approval of warrant number 2526 in the amount of $704,698.08 from the listed funds.
Motion to approve. Alderman Sullivan, second by Alderman Shower. Any questions or comments? On the roll?
Sullivan.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Leganski.
Aye.
6 ayes and 1 absent.
Warrant's been approved. Mike?
Next, requesting council's approval of warrant number 252602 in the amount of $24,231.05 from the listed funds. Payroll for the period ended May 15th in the amount of $325,828.08. Total to be approved, $350,059.13.
Motion to approve. Alderman Belzak, second by Alderman Stompanato. And again, questions or comments? On the roll?
Belzak.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Leganski.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
6 ayes and 1 absent.
That warrant's been approved. Takes us to standing committee reports. Any of the chairmen have information? Alderman Belzak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Municipal Services Committee meeting will be next week. Will be on Tuesday due to the Memorial Day holiday. It'll be at 6 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you. Mary?
The next Administrative Finance Committee meeting will be held on Monday, June 2nd at 6 p.m. in the City Hall Conference Room.
Mr. Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This evening, the Police Committee met and we approved the minutes for the April 21st meeting. Those minutes have had to be amended. We'll get those back to the clerk's office here shortly. Our next meeting is slated for Monday, June 16th, 6 p.m. across the parking lot at Police Training Room, pending agenda items.
And I'd like to announce, and I think I sent this out to all of you, our meeting with the Darien Park District Commissioners will take place on Thursday, June 5th. That's the date that most of you, and as well as the commissioners, can meet. And again, this is part of our strategic plan to meet. Mr. Jablonski and I are going to create an agenda together, and because I'm not at that meeting that's going to take place between the two councils, he said I should have an alder person with me when we meet Wednesday morning. Now, and I was going to ask Mary, I don't know if you're available at 9 o'clock this coming Wednesday.
I should be.
If you have a chance, I'd like you to join us for that.
Is
And
that meeting, what time is
What
that
time on the
meeting
5th?
for the 5th?
it'll
and
be in the evening
location?
about 6:30, 7 o'clock. We have to pick a time. And we're going to send out a notice. We're going to ask Katie Rush to be the facilitator for that group. So it's really important that we develop an agenda which really gets to the nuts and bolts of things. But that'll be Thursday, June 5th, so please put that on your calendar. All right, that takes us to questions and comments, agenda related. Anybody have any questions regarding any items on our agenda? If none, we'll move to old business. There being none, we move to the consent agenda. Please bear with me. Item A, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution amending resolution. Resolution number R-21-25, the mayor and city clerk to amend the intergovernmental agreement with the Darien Woodridge Fire Protection District for the reimbursement of the parking lot paving maintenance at 8687 Lamont Road and 7550 Lyman Avenue through the City of Darien's 2025 road maintenance contract with Schroeder Asphalt Services Incorporated as per the contract unit pricing and a contingency in a revised amount not to exceed $200,000. Item B, consideration of a motion to accept a proposal from MuniWeb to redesign and upgrade the city's website in an amount not to exceed $12,750. And item C, consideration of a motion authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with MC Square Energy Services LLC to provide full requirements, electricity supply, and related services for the city of Darien's electric aggregation program. Motion to approve. Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Kenny, and the roll.
Shower.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Leganski.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
6 ayes and 1 absent.
Our consent agenda has been approved. We have new business. There's one item under new business. Consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance amending section 3-4-1 and 3-4-2 of the Darien City Code to increase the home rule municipal retailer's occupation tax and home rule municipal service or occupation tax from 1% to 1.25%. Motion to approve. Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Belzak. Questions or comments? Okay, Mary?
Oh, just, we did review this and discuss this in the Administrative Finance Committee at the beginning of May. And the intent of this is because the governor signed, into law, the sunset of the 1% grocery tax. This gives the city an opportunity to recoup that lost revenue, which would, hit the city budget quite significantly. And by doing it in this manner versus instituting a grocery tax of 1%, it gives us the opportunity to cover more of all the businesses, including Walmart.
And I wanted to add, as part of DuPage mayors and managers, I attend meetings with 34 other mayors from DuPage County. And this is a topic of discussion we've had now for the last 3 or 4 months with regard to how we're gonna deal with it. And as of a week ago Saturday, 18 of the 35 municipalities in DuPage County have either passed an increase in the home rule municipal sales tax like us, or they've passed a new 1% grocery tax. So we're not doing this alone. And what people need to understand is down in Springfield, budget is tight this year. They're about $500 million short of revenue this year. And that means no increase in LGDF for us, which again, goes towards infrastructure, police. And we're also looking at the possibility of another big increase in our police pension contribution. None of which is, everything that could be negative is happening. There's no more money coming from Springfield for LGDF, and yet we were gonna lose almost $700,000 in grocery tax. So this has become a necessity. And when people say, I'm real happy they got rid of the 1% grocery tax, what people need to realize is, if you spend $100, it's $1. That's what it is. And I've had people say they were really happy to get rid of that tax. Well, a lot of municipalities felt the same need as we did to pass something to recapture some of that money. And that's how we're doing it. We're doing it because we're gonna probably get about $800,000 now because of our sales agreement with Walmart. So that just gives you a little history of where we're at. Any other discussion? If none, the roll.
Shower.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Leganski.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
6 ayes and 1 absent.
And that has been passed. Questions and comments and announcements of a general nature. Anyone have anything they'd like to add? I have one item. This weekend, I attended the Darien Dash. As you know, that's now run by the Darien Business Alliance. We had our highest turnout of runners. We had over 300 people participate in the run, the 1K, 5K, and the 10K. And it was really a beautiful day to run, to be out there doing it. But I have to tell you, right before, about an hour before anything began, a woman walked up to the registration booth. She had a long dress on, regular shoes, and a purse over her shoulder. And she said, I'd like to sign up. And they said, well, would you like the 1 mile walk? And she goes, no, I want to do the 10K, which is a race. She signed up for she says, today's my birthday. I'm 82 years old. She goes, and I've decided I'm going to do the 10K. And I remember standing at the finish line with her medal in my hand, waiting for her to cross the finish line. She was the last person to come in, and I put the medal around over her neck, and she goes, "Why am I getting this?" And I said, "Because you were first in your age group." She was the only person in her age.
That's great.
But talk about a beautiful individual. In fact, I'm gonna write about her in my mayor's message this coming week, but it was a beautiful activity. I want to credit April and Amanda from upstairs and Jessica for all the hard work they did, for all of our sponsors. It really turned out to be a great event, and congratulations on that. And the other thing I want to mention is, if you go past Chestnut Court, you'll see the setup for the Memorial Day, the Memorial Weekend Carnival. It's all set up. They're going to fence it in so that we don't have any activity going on when they're not supposed to have activity. And if you get a chance, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, that carnival will be taking place at the Chestnut Court Shopping Center. And we want to thank Mr. Bahavanasi for allowing us to have that in that center. And that's all I have.
By the way, Mr. Mayor, Trevor said he had a great time talking to you at the Darien Dash, so I want to let you know about that.
And again, it's always hard to notice him when he's going facial.
Yeah, tell me about it, so.
And what was your time in the 10K, Mayor?
I did the entire circuit in about 10 minutes, but I was driving a golf cart.
So some of you had some four wheels under you.
Motion to adjourn. Alderman Showers, second by Alderman Kenny, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.